to 2013 and another edition of the High School Sports Insider. I'm Aaron Dorkson along with Mike Plant, and we're going to expand on the high school football insiders we've been doing in the fall the last 2 years by bringing you winter sports reports the rest of the winter.
That's right, Aaron. We appreciate the positive feedback we've received from the fall football videos, and it should be interesting to feature some of the things our winter sports teams and athletes have been doing.
Well, let's jump right into the winter sports scene, talk about some of the biggest storylines. Mike, what are some things jumping out at you as we're kind of nearing the halfway point already of the winter sports season?
Well, first, our area girls basketball teams are loaded again. The first Associated Press polls, which we have a vote in, Aaron, came out this week. We have two teams ranked #1 in the state, West Holmes, #1 in Division II, and the Smithville Smithies ranked #1 in Division III. Two other girls teams in the area are also cracked the top 10. Orville is #6 in Division III with its only loss to West Holmes, and Highland is currently #4 in Division IV. On the boys' side, the only team that's ranked is the defending two-time state champion Highland. They're ranked #14 in Division IV, and Aaron, so far they're 8-3 this year in what would be termed as a rebuilding year, but more of a rebranding year, I think, for Mark Schleybaugh and the Hawks. Real quick to take a look at some of the other boys' teams that are off to good starts. We've got to look over to the east in Dalton. The Dalton Bulldogs lost opening night to Tuslaw, and since then have reeled off 9 straight wins. I've had a chance to see them a couple times. They've got a lot of size, with led by Clay Bowe, their big 6'4" center inside, and they also have a great player in guard Chase Moyer, one of the best players in our area, and some other pretty good pieces. So they're off to a pretty good start. They'll get a big test this weekend when they travel up to Cleveland to take on Via Angela St. Joseph's, who has 2 Division I recruits, along with a sophomore a big sophomore who's a top 50 player in the country. And that's who Dalton will be facing in their upcoming sectional district too. So that's going to be tough for the Bulldogs, so we'll get a good idea of where they stand then. Of course, West Holmes is off to a solid start. Missing right now Brady Arnold, their all-everything guard, maybe the best player in our area. When they lost to Mansfield Senior in a battle for first in the OCC. But they rebounded to beat a pretty good Garaway team. And I know that Norwayne got off to a slow start because of the late football season, but I think that's a team, Aaron, that'll get better and better as the season goes on, led by their outstanding junior, probably the best newcomer to the area I've seen, Tyson Stoudemire. And meanwhile, Worcester's won 5 out of 6. I think the Generals are still kind of seeking their identity, Aaron. They got a lot of talent on that team. It's just a matter of everybody getting on the same page there. And I know, lastly, you saw Tuslaw last week, and they're off to an 8-2 start with their standout Casey Meyer. I know you were pretty impressed with the Mustangs.
Yeah, Tuslaw looked pretty good. It's always interesting to kind of see that first AP poll come out. Where do our teams fit in? Who are some of the top teams to rank? And how can it not jump out at you? 2 local girls teams both ranked #1. I had a chance to see the West Holmes girls, who were the state runner-up last year in Division II. They've already defeated Hathaway Brown, that had beat them in the championship last year. So obviously the goal is pretty much state title. That's what they're shooting for. Lena Snyder's our reigning player of the year, a 6-foot post player. She's even had Maryland there to watch her play. But what surprised me the most when I saw West Holmes beat Worcester a couple weeks ago is they go about 8 or 10 deep. I mean, they have a girl that was the 8th girl to get into the game that would come in and drain a 3-pointer. And, you know, they have 8 or 10 girls that might be starting on other teams, and they're even playing freshmen, sophomores, so this team's definitely not going anywhere. Have to mention Hannah Plyben at Orville. She's already the school's all-time leading scorer for girls. She might even wind up scoring more than the top boy did there. What a player she is. And she's an Akron recruit. Really seems like Orville is headed for a rematch, a collision course with Smithville for the Division III district title, the top-ranked Smithies. So that would be fun to watch. Boy, I don't know if there's ever been a year where the highest area boys team was ranked #14. So, you know, we kind of thought that coming into the year. There's not a team that you sit there and say, wow, watch for them to go to the state, maybe even you know, you're not even sure who will go to the regionals, but a lot of the teams are pretty close, so we're still getting a lot of good games. It's fun to watch and fun to see Dalton, Coach Nate Stutz. They always seem to do a good job. So there's some quick look at basketball. We're going to be back and talk about wrestling, the College of Worcester Scots after this break.
Aaron, you've come to be known as the mat doctor of sorts with your coverage of the high school wrestling beat for the DR, and you've reported on lots of state placers and champions. For the first time, we have a defending state champion team too. How do the Waynedale Golden Bears look so far to you this year in the wrestling scene?
Well, Waynedale is ranked #1 in the state coaches poll in Division III. 5 of their 6 returning state placers are back. To list those guys, Brendan Stanley and Zane Nelson were state runners-up. They're back. Also getting on the medal stand, Zach Nelson, Bradley Wardell, Dakota Stanley. They're coming off a dominating performance to win the Coshocton Invite. I had a chance to talk to Coach Louis Stanley and his son Brendan before the season opening wins they had against West Holmes and Triway. Here's some of their thoughts on being the defending state team champion.
It's first time in a while that we didn't start on opening Saturday, so it's kind of, kids are chomping at the bit. We watched everybody, of course, wrestle last weekend, but opening up with Triway, one of our biggest rivals for 30, 40 years. It's nice you can beat them anytime. They had obviously some pretty nice kids out there. We just seemed to outman them a little bit tonight, but good one to start with. Exciting to beat anybody again, let alone a local rival. So pretty excited.
Like he said too, we didn't wrestle this Saturday, and I feel that felt good for us and even a couple of weight cutters. It gave them the opportunity to cut down for this Wednesday's meet. And we've been waiting 365 days just to wrestle West Holmes again, and Triway too. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was great to open up here at home with Triway and West Holmes, and I was looking to finish it tonight.
How's it feel to finally get back to business of wrestling after the state championship? You've probably been patted on the back right up until maybe today before the match, but now it's a new year, and talk about picking up where you left off.
Well, I think we talked about that. It is, in some ways it's still like a dream, but I mean we kind of shoved that to the side clear back in May and June when we start training for this year. I mean it's great, but I tell the guys we'll be able to bask in this after they're out of high school. Maybe when I retire I'll actually enjoy it more, because there's just no time. We enjoyed it for a few weekends there, and we're focused. The kids are working hard. We were a little banged up. We have a couple guys out of the lineup tonight. That's probably the biggest negative. Two of our main starters. But other than that, we're excited and ready to get back to the match. So.
And Brendan, kind of the same question to you, but any clue if there's not the same team? There's like 5 freshmen in the lineup, so even that right there tells you it's a different year. So maybe talk about how you feel about this year's team and what the keys are going to be.
We definitely have some greenhorns, but that it makes it all the better. I mean, we had the experience last year with Zeb and our other senior Mark Gingrich, and once they left, we replaced them with a bunch of other kids, which they're greenhorns to high school wrestling, but they aren't greenhorns to wrestling. They came up through a very, very successful and good junior high program, and they're fun to be around in here. They're always working hard, and especially a couple of the upper weights. You saw a couple of the bigger ones. I mean, they're here to push us too. So it's a pleasure to have them here.
Okay. Well, it's interesting to hear the Stanleys. I mean, they're basically almost putting that in the back of their minds that they won the state title. They know that they have to take it day by day, and they seem to have the right attitude so far. Also, Coach Stanley's son, Reed, is a freshman. He's just back into the lineup, and then his nephew, Dakota. So a lot of Stanleys. Wrestling's a family affair, and really, other than the Stanleys, the name that you think of with Waynedale Wrestling, Mike, is the Beam family. And our condolences go out to the Beams on the passing of Don Beam on Sunday at age 56. His son Zeb was a state champion last year. He also had older sons Jacob and Jonathan go to the state tournament. And so all our condolences. Very hard time. I talked to Coach Stanley today. He said everyone there is heartbroken. Don Beam was a fixture at the Waynedale gym. I mean, he was always going to be there with his video camera. He just shot endless video, made highlight videos. He helped coach, drive the team vans to camps, and anything that they needed. So, and he was a really great guy. I'm glad to get to know him. But the show goes on. Waynedale's gonna honor Don Beam in its next home match with a moment of silence, and I know he was always excited, not just for how the Waynedale wrestlers are going to do, but for the area wrestlers. And a couple others I definitely want to point out. We'll talk more about as our shows go along. Our Max Rosekoff, I expect him to be ranked first or second in the state in Division II at his weight. Outstanding wrestler. He's an NC State recruit. And big Zach Srock over at Chippewa is also trying to become a 3-time state placer, and I think Zach will be ranked very highly. So a lot of fun wrestling to watch as we go on.
I don't think you can leave out the general either. Phil Eisenhower from Chippewa. I know he's a pretty good one over there.
He's good, and he has one of the best names, that's for sure.
Of course, Aaron, there's one more storyline we need to talk about this week, the College of Worcester men's basketball team.
Well, it seems every single year they're making headlines in our paper. They're competing for the NCAC title. They usually win it. And they're making a strong run in the Division III. They've been to a couple Final Fours. So what do you think about this year's team, Mike?
Well, I know you really like the depth on this year's team with the Scots, and there's no question that's a big key to them. They go at least 10 deep, even though Jalen Goodwin right now, starting guard, is out with an ankle injury. He'll miss some games this week. They've been getting some great play out of their big 6'8" senior, Jake Mays, almost averaging a double-double. Which it helps a lot. And then their backcourt, their top 2 scorers, Xavier Brown, the leading scorer, almost 16 points a game, and Doug Thorpe, who had been coming off the bench and replacing Goodwin, is now in the starting lineup, and he's been on a roll lately and is also averaging double figures. What'll be interesting to see, Aaron, through the second half of the schedule, which does favor the Scots. I know they have to go to Ohio Wesleyan to kind of complete the first round. They'll get Wittenberg and Ohio Wesleyan both at home in the second half of the schedule. And I'm interested to see how Coach Steve Moore incorporates former Worcester High standout Alex Lalonde into the lineup. 6'5" athlete. I'm sure he's going to be getting plenty of playing time for the Scots as they come down the stretch.
Well, there's a quick overview of some of the very top storylines. We look forward to coming back each week during the winter, working in some video interviews. You may even see Andrew Vogel, our other sports writer. His contract calls for a lot of vacation, but he will be in the office soon, so look for Andrew as well.
Yeah, he's on a sabbatical today, as a matter of fact, but we look forward to getting Andrew here and seeing you again next week on the High School Sports Insider. Thanks for watching.